doing another Nerd Talk today.
Yes, we are.
We wanted to talk a bit about what we did this past weekend.
Yeah.
And that was, we went and saw the Batman.
I bet. Wait, no, he didn't actually say that. I'm Vengeance. He said it real soft.
It's Vengeance. And everybody calls him Vengeance.
I'm Vengeance.
Like, yo, hey, what up, Vengeance? Kind of like Mando.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not his name, but that's what they call him.
Well, no, he's Batman. They know he's Batman. He already has the bat signal.
Yeah.
He's already friends with Commissioner Gordon in this iteration.
It's the second year.
Yeah, year 2 of Batman. So when we were talking about being year 1, we were pretty close.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And, it was, I liked it. It was good.
I loved it. I thought it was really great. There were a lot of things that they got really, really right with this iteration. First and foremost is the Penguin, in my opinion. Yeah. The Penguin played by Colin Farrell.
Didn't even look like Colin Farrell.
Dude, that's not Colin
even
Farrell.
a little bit.
Yeah. It's not.
I leaned over to Phil in the theater. I'm like, I can't believe that's Colin Farrell. He's beginning to beat me on that.
Yeah.
And again, I did it twice. I can't believe that's Colin Farrell.
Yeah. And it really doesn't look a thing like him, but
no.
Man, it's such an accurate portrayal of the Penguin.
No, it was great. I mean, he did a great job. Colin Farrell, I was expecting him to be the worst actor in it, and he was really great. He did a super fantastic job. Mm-hmm. Saw John Turturro do something, other than no, or 8-year-olds do.
No.
Something that he hasn't done for a while. He played Falcone, and he played so good.
He was menacing. I mean, you don't think of that as John Turturro being
not
menacing
for a while.
Man, he certainly was.
I mean, he's a great actor. John Turturro is one of the great character actors of our time.
Sure.
And he really just was killer in this role.
I agree entirely. So let's get to the real highlights. Zoe Kravitz.
Well, yeah.
As Catwoman was astounding.
Oh, she was everything Catwoman should be. She was capable. She was the Catwoman, but not cheesy, right? Every other Catwoman, including Michelle Pfeiffer, was cheesy as Catwoman.
It goes back to what we were talking about in our Batman video, and go check that out. It goes back to that, that Keaton era, the Burton Keaton Batman we remember so fondly, but it was camp. It was just like the Adam West camp stuff, and we won't even talk about Halle Berry.
No, terrible. But Zoe Kravitz was very much like the Catwoman you would see in the Batman animated series or the comic book.
Or the Arkham Asylum video game series.
Yeah, she was, a capable thief. She was a capable fighter. She looked sexy doing it because that's part of what the Catwoman is, whether you like it or don't.
It is. Yeah.
She had the cats around her, but she didn't do little crazy cat calls with a cat microphone like
No, she
Batman 1966. It was really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my favorite character that they got really, really right was Gordon. James Gordon is
Jeffrey Wright.
It's Jeffrey Wright,
dude.
Man.
I mean, come on.
But what I saw out of
Jeffrey Wright could have been Batman. It would have been awesome.
I would have been cool. With
doesn't
that.
matter.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright can do anything.
He can. Jeffrey Wright can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why his name's Wright.
He's one of the best actors there is out there.
For sure.
Period. He's fantastic and everything.
For sure. And his portrayal was really accurate in the fact that, Jim Gordon is not afraid of Batman.
Right.
Jim Gordon stands up to Batman.
Yeah.
And there's one particular scene where Jeffrey Wright pushes Batman up against a wall and, gets in his face.
Yeah.
And, dude, I liked seeing that out of Jim Gordon. I thought it was excellent.
Well, it was interesting to see because, you said it right after we saw it, got out of the theater, that this is the most comic accurate Batman we've seen yet.
Yeah.
And it was funny too, going on back what we talked about with the other 4 iterations in the Batman video we did a couple weeks ago. This combined a few things. I mean, one, you saw Batman with the cops. They didn't love him except for Gordon, but he was there with them during the active investigation. They might have said a word or two, but then kind of piped down, and so you saw that. But then you also saw him as a vigilante running from the cops.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But the thing, and you know, and I know other people have said it now out there in the YouTube world about the review, but I said it in the theater when we were talking to Phil. I said it's like they took Seven
It turned it into a Batman movie.
Yeah, and combined it with the Dark Knight. It's got so many elements of Seven.
It really does.
The Riddler was like Kevin Spacey's killer in Seven.
Oh yeah.
That's what he reminded me more than anything else. And you know, it was like, but I say the Dark Knight because it's, to me, in my opinion, it seemed like Reeves was really trying to make that Riddler have the same impact that Ledger's Joker had.
Sure, yeah, he did. But what he did in doing that is made the Riddler an actual feared criminal.
Yeah.
The Riddler, you know, from Frank Gorshin to Jim Carrey, is largely seen as a fool.
Cheesy.
Yeah, super cheese.
Yeah.
And you know, bringing this iteration is the Riddler's motivation is, you know, people are stupid and he wants to punish them for that. And he really feels that if they were smarter, if they figured out his riddles, he wouldn't kill them.
Yeah, I mean, he even says it to Batman. Oh, I thought you were smarter.
Yeah, and that's what drives him is society's stupidity in his eyes. And you really, really see that. He's a cold-blooded killer, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And is in the comics and was in this movie. I absolutely despise his costume in this movie, though. I think it was terrible. As Chuck said.
He's got his serial killer costume. It's, you know.
He does.
His plastic garbage bags.
He's just not, you know, okay, so the question marks are cheesy, but it identifies him as
But
the
it was
Riddler.
also part and parcel to what Matt Reeves was doing in the story.
Sure.
You know, spoilers if you didn't get that already.
Yeah.
At the end, when you see the big revelation that it's not just been him out there and there's many people dressed like him, kind of like the Cult of the Bat in the Dark Knight series. And you kind of saw the Cult of Joker, although they didn't really call it that. They
Sure.
had the face paint like it. They all dressed and looked like him, so it could have been any one of him at the different crime scenes. In fact,
Could have been,
I
yeah.
postulate, I don't even think he was at any of the crime scenes. I think it was all these followers of his, and he tasked them with orders.
It's entirely possible.
Which is why they all have light costumes.
Yeah.
Now, you could have made them all light costumes with the question mark, but realistically, if you as in this, and again, heavy spoilers, but if you're this Riddler and you have this following of people that you're posting on the internet, and you need to get them stuff that they can actually go and get themselves via just general stores,
yeah,
like
well,
Home
and
Depot
you see
whatever.
that. You see that in the little chat room that they're in. They're saying you can go here and get this. You can go here and get this. Don't forget your saran wrap or whatever they're doing. You know. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. That, you know, maybe that's how he gets out of it.
And that's why I think that Reeves made that decision. You know, it was, again, it was a really good movie. I think it was a little long.
There were at least
55 minutes. I mean, that's.
I said it in the theater. There's at least 4 points where you can end that movie safely.
Yeah.
And be just fine, not miss anything. But
For
it
sure.
just kept going.
It did, and you know, to me, that's the only thing that really. That takes away a little bit from it. Not a ton. I mean, I still, it's an 8 out of 10 movie for me.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But, and I got to get used to Pattinson's voice, because I'm so used to a more deep, aggressive voice, and he was kind of like the lighter voice Batman. It was strange.
Well, he's that deep, brooding kind of Batman
with his eyes, yeah. But his voice was kind of like,
yeah,
you see?
I suppose he's trying. But I'll tell you what.
Oh, well, he was when he said, "I'm vengeance." That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
And you know, he's awesome as Batman. I love him as Batman.
His
I
action
think
scenes were
they're
fantastic.
so good. Can we talk for a second about the Batmobile?
Dude, that was dope. That's the best Batmobile of all time. I want one right now. I want to put one in my garage.
The reveal of that Batmobile was, it gave me chills.
A muscle car Batmobile? Thank you. Yes, please.
It was so cool.
Raising my hand.
And
Please,
when the
can I have
jet
one?
engine fires, I mean, it's badass.
That thing is it's the best Batmobile, hands down. Done.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
I agree.
I accept no argument.
It's a really cool Batmobile. Pattinson, I think, did a great job. I leaned over to Chuck while we were watching it, and I'm like, I think it's Battinson now.
Yeah, you did say that. You know, he needs to work on Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
He was a little too Batman-y as Bruce Wayne, but again, year 2, right? So
Sure.
maybe that's part of it. I mean, other things that he did that he didn't sneak into places very well. I mean, when does Batman knock on the front door?
Sure.
You know, but these are all because he's year 2.
He's a newer
Yeah.
Batman. And, you know, we talked about that too as we were leaving the theater. Chuck mentioned, you know, he's not very good Bruce Wayne. And I said, I don't think he was Bruce Wayne at any point. He's so immersed in what he's doing as the Batman that he's kind of lost that Bruce Wayne side of him. And maybe that's something Alfred draws out of him.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis doing an awesome job as Alfred.
Yeah, Gollum was great as Alfred.
He was. Granted, he spent most of the time laid up in a hospital bed.
Well, there's a new Lord of the Rings series coming out. He had to worry about getting the ring and
yeah, exactly.
figuring out his dynamics to get reacquire the precious.
Exactly. But, you know, maybe that's something we see moving forward is just like Michael Caine's Alfred gave Christian Bale's Batman the speech of, hey, you got to, you know, play a little, be the billionaire playboy, explain why all these things happen. And, you know, maybe he just hasn't had that talk with him yet.
And Pattinson certainly has the look to be that guy.
Sure.
Right. You know, in the next movie, you know, maybe we'll see a more mature Bruce Wayne. You know, maybe it's a couple years down the road and he's, you know, gone out and learned to have some fun and gotten more involved because he's so immersed in it now that if he continues on a path like this, it would drive him crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's exactly what you say, so immersed in it that it's his entire personality. He can't turn it off yet.
But I will also say, thank you, DC. You didn't have to show me his parents getting killed again. Thank you. Finally.
No origin story.
I mean, his parents were key to the plot.
Yes.
But we didn't get an origin story. Thank you.
Yeah.
All that is good and holy in the world.
Finally, DC, you figured it out.
Thank God. Well, they watch Spider-Man. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, what do you know? Spider-Man without Uncle Ben still works.
Yeah. And, you know, Bruce Wayne without us having to watch his parents walk out of the theater down Crime Alley and his mom get shot in her pearl necklace. How many times? We didn't have to see it. It's not there. I'm going to give that right away. It ain't in there.
It ain't in there, and thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it up. I think this is it's a movie I'm going to watch again and again. I think it was really, really great. Was it Dark Knight great?
No.
No. But it was great. And the future of Batman, no. The future of Batman looks to be solid. I can't
agree.
wait to see more.
I would agree.
With that, we'll go ahead and end it. I would like to remind you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, all that good stuff. We are out there. Share us with all your nerd friends so they can join in the party too. With that, we will say,
What's on your nerd card?